Hey, good morning everyone. Frank Valkyria, welcome to the channel. This video, it's an update about what's going on around the world and also with a sense of civic duty to inform my audience to what's going on day by day. I'll try to do this more. I'm Italian, I live in Amsterdam, so I feel very closely everything that is happening from my friends and family in Italy, in the south of Italy, throughout all of Italy, to here in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, how things are evolving. So I want to share with you like the news, the more important things, and also the things that perhaps other people are not talking about. And I'm gonna get to that in a second. So I'm not an expert, I'm not a doctor, I'm just trying to report as accurately as possible to the things that I read from official sources. So first of all, I just, I want to extend a prayer to everyone that it's of, the 5,000, 6,000 cases which they're critical or serious, and wish them a fast recovery. And on that note, I want to share with you a news. Let's go directly to this page here, and that not a lot of people are talking about. This is the Messaggero. It's one of the official newspaper of Italy, and this was all over the news now. This is in Italian, but I'm gonna translate it for you. Basically, an oncologist from Naples, he had this intuition that there is a medicine for rheumatoid arthritis which seemed to have a very beneficial effect on the pneumonia caused by the virus. So this is great news. They've used it already, like on several patients, two patients in a time of 24 hours, they saw great improvement. So now this is news everywhere. It's getting, like they're trying to basically create the whole like official thing so that they can be spread throughout of Italy and perhaps the world. So this is not a medicine that cures the virus, but it helps where the virus has caused pneumonia, and therefore like there is a faster healing, it seems. So now today they took off one person that was tubed, was in critical condition, severe condition, thanks to this medicine, it seems. And the medicine is called, let's go down here, it's called tocilizumab, and it's like a rheumatoid arthritis medicine. The doctor also gives the whole explanation. He's an oncologist, and he knows, he's occupied on immunotherapy because of his work, and he had this intuition that this medicine might work. And he's also in contact with China, where other patients were treated with the same medicine. So they're cooperating in further, seeing the results of this. This is a great news coming from my city, Naples, and it makes me so happy. And I truly hope that newer result will show that this could help people with pneumonia, so that as soon as they spread this throughout of Italy and throughout the world, it might help so many human beings, especially the one in critical condition. Because yesterday, of course, the World Health Organization declared a state of pandemic, and now the whole world seems to be on the same page here in trying to get measure to curb this thing. In Italy today, they also stopped every shop, only pharmacies, shop the sellings like newspapers and like some electronics, or like those generic things that people need, I don't know, lamps or whatever, and food stores. So all the restaurants, all the shop, everything else is closed, which is unprecedented, gives a sense of like surrealism, and you also of course wonder on what's the impact. At the same time, other measures from Italy that have been taking place in order to stop people, of course this is an economical crisis too, and in Italy they stopped both mortgages and rents for people. So in the foreseeable future, like people will not have to pay their mortgages or rent. Everything is suspended, also the VAT, to pay taxes and all that kind of stuff, which seems just a normal thing. But of course, I'm also wondering what is going to happen to small entrepreneurs, people which they rely on tourism and cafes and, restaurants and all that kind of stuff to survive, because of course that's very strange. Period. Here in the Netherlands, we have 503 confirmed cases, and I read you this magazine here. Let's go right away here. This is like done by Expat, and it's an Italian magazine that translates official Dutch news into Italian for the expats here. I follow them for quite some time. It's called 31mag.nl. But like they just take literally the articles which are published by the Dutch media, official Dutch media, that they translate. Until now, the position of the Dutch government, it's been not to change much, because basically the representative of the health organization in the Netherlands, which is giving advice to the government, it just went on to say, like, the approach of Italy so far, it's also silly, stupid. It says here, I'm just literally reading what I see, because this virus is here and cannot be stopped. So it seems like the position here is much more of acceptance, like, okay, this thing, you will not stop it. We are taking measured where it's necessary, but we have also what it says in the article. This representative of the health organization here in the Netherlands said that in the past with SARS, containment and blocking everything did not work. So this virus is here to stay, and it's going to spread. So we're going to take localized action where it's needed, but to try to stop it, it doesn't work. So for the moment, they didn't close schools. It's business as usual, as they say. But I start to sense that the people themselves are like on a different page, of course, because they see the rest of the world behaving differently. And now I heard from a friend, just as we speak, that the government, it's in emergency meeting, making probably new decisions on what to do, perhaps closing schools, because as we know, kids don't seem to be much affected, but still they're capable to spread the virus around. So there are many thoughts here in question. As a small entrepreneur here in the Netherlands, of course, I rely on my clients' restaurants to work, the city to thrive. And therefore, of course, with the city shutting down, we will all be affected by this. And obviously, it's a really strange, really strange time to go through this. But we will see day by day. So this position, it gives me a little bit of surprise, because it's a sort of a little bit counter tendency so far. But I suspect that if the numbers are recorded and registered and they increase also here in the Netherlands, probably they will take also more stringent measures. The good news is still that as we see the numbers here on the meter, the majority of cases, this is up to today, 12 March, the 55,000 people infected and 23,000 people infected, 49,312, which we are confirmed cases, 90% of them, they are in mild condition, of course. And I always say these numbers seem to increase. The critical serious condition which they need help are like 5,700, almost 70,000 people, 68,337 people, they're recovered, which is great news in order, because I was following, like I said, I'm not an expert, I'm just sharing the news. Follow as much as possible the professional doctors, people which they are in the fields, which they spread the news, not fear, because that's very important in this moment. I'm trying to do my little part, just following the guidelines of the official staff and the scientific community. 90% of people seems will not develop symptoms or will have mild symptoms, which is a good news, because the more of that, they will recover, they will create immunity for the virus to go around and be spread. But we seem like we can go through every country in their own way to go through a peak of their own expansion of the virus. So, and also wonder like how many they are like truly doing tests, because in Italy they did more than 60,000 tests, and so these people are all the people which they have 12,000 people, all people which they have developed symptoms, clinical symptoms, of course. And yesterday I'm following every day 6 o'clock the press conference of the of the body in charge to give the number and just also talk to the nation that also the number of death, it's also higher, because they're piling in people which they find them like to be positive to the tampon, to the test, but they had other multiple underlying conditions. Like for instance, like one old man yesterday in Sicily died, but was hospitalized because of a stroke, and there were some other underlying condition, and he died, and he tested positive for the coronavirus. So they're piling up together also those deaths of older people, but they're also trying to make understand that those people probably they were just really dying, and they happened to have the virus on them. It wasn't just the virus that killed them. So this is also the reason why the numbers are higher, and also because Italy, it's a country of older people. Of course, being an advanced country like the rest of Europe, people live longer. We have a ton of over 80-year-old people in Italy. So, and unfortunately, those are the ones which they're the most affected and vulnerable. So again, we go back to this wonderful news of Il Messaggero here, that in Naples, this oncologist suggested tocilizumab, sorry for the pronunciation, very difficult to pronounce this medicine, that helps relieve patients from pneumonia caused by the virus. So truly, I'm just praying that this is really going around quickly, so that a lot of those people that we see here that they are in critical condition, we can help them. Because I know that in this number, the majority of us, we might just go through it, we might get it, maybe some of us already got it and we didn't notice, and we went through it in this period, because this thing is already going around since December for sure. So now we're just looking at like what it's being tested. All the other people which had symptoms or already overcame it, or had, were infectious but they didn't feel much. We just don't know. We just don't know. So let's keep that in mind. But it's important to remember this. It's important to remember this, and if we find, that this medicine for rheumatoid arthritis works for people with they're in serious or critical condition, this is a great news. This is an incredible great news, because more percentage of these people can be saved. Of course, I don't think everyone can be saved, but then again, also because we are talking of very elderly people, unfortunately, that perhaps would have, gone on their own, either today or in a week or in a month. So it's always sad to talk about people in numbers, but that's also a reality that also when this wasn't around, it took place every day. So this is a reminder of how also when people, they're really searching, people, they're really putting their minds together, something can be done. And I hope that this is just the beginning of positive news, that perhaps there is a vaccine also at work that I've read somewhere. I don't have the news, but I read somewhere already that they're working on this vaccine, in which they're already testing it on mice, and perhaps they're going to start soon the trial on human. But take it with a grain of salt. I don't know yet, so we have to see here what's going on. My phone is ringing. Is my sister in New York? yeah, it's really a strange time. It's a strange time, and we have to do our best to curb this thing. And if we have to stay home for a couple of weeks, I wish for all of us to stay safe. I hope that our governments everywhere around the world, they try to do something, because if this goes the way of Italy everywhere, this is gonna be this is gonna be not. Again, I'm not so worried personally, of course, about the majority of the people, but about also the impact of restarting. You know what I mean? It's, and also, of course, by trying to curb the spread of the disease, we give more time to hospital and facilities to cope with the number of people which are in critical condition. There are not so many beds around that can be used for people with ventilators and other things. So, if we can do our part by staying at home a week or 2 weeks and just slowing this thing down that spreads much slower, then we give a chance also to hospital and people working to cope with this and not be overwhelmed. And again, my prayer go out to all the people working, all the nurses and doctors, which they're on the front line, and they're just everywhere from China, in Italy, and everywhere now around the world, working tirelessly to save these people in critical condition. Bless you. And yeah, that's it. Anyway, guys, tomorrow or in the days to come, we'll do more updates on the situation. And wash your hands, try to chill a little bit, and always spread love, not virus. And I'll see you later. Ciao, ciao.